The way you speak can change your life. That's not just a statement. It's real. Think about it. If you can speak English clearly, you can ask for what you want, connect with more people, and feel proud when you say something and others understand you. But if you stay silent, if you keep avoiding conversations, nothing changes. You stay stuck. This video is not about grammar rules or big fancy words. It's about helping you speak English the way real people speak it. Clear, simple, and confident. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. And you need to keep going every day, even if it's just a few minutes. We'll walk through the exact steps that help you fix your mistakes, speak without fear, and make English feel natural to you. If you've ever felt nervous, if you've ever held back your words, this is for you. Let's start where you are and let's get better together. Chapter 1. Start practicing English speaking every single day. You want to improve your English speaking skills? Then speak. Speak today, speak tomorrow, speak again the next day. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait until you feel ready. That day never comes unless you bring it. You don't get better by thinking about it. You don't improve by watching others do it. You improve by doing it yourself, daily, over and over again. I know it feels uncomfortable at first. You feel unsure. You worry about saying the wrong thing. You're afraid someone might laugh or judge. But remember this. Every person you admire who speaks English fluently started where you are. They didn't know much either. They just made the decision to start, and then they stuck with it. That's the difference. That's the whole game. Starting once is easy. Starting every day. That's power. Now ask yourself, how badly do you want to get better? If you want to speak English with confidence, then you've got to show up for yourself every single day. Not once a week, not when you feel like it, every day. Even if it's just 5 minutes, even if you only know a few words, speak them, use them, say them out loud. Your brain responds to repetition. It learns by action. You don't need a perfect sentence. You need a real effort. Sit in your room and talk to yourself. Describe your morning. Talk about your goals. Talk about your day. Say everything you can in English. Don't worry if it sounds strange. Nobody's watching. This is your time to build the foundation. You might feel silly at first. That's okay. Growth always feels strange at the beginning. But if you do this daily, something starts to change. You start to feel more comfortable. Your tongue gets used to the words. Your thoughts start forming in English. Slowly, it starts becoming a part of you. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start where you are. Pick a simple topic. Talk about what you ate today. Talk about your work. Talk about your family. Just talk in English. Say what you can. Even if you stop after a few sentences, that's fine. The next day, do a little more. And the next day, more again. That's how progress happens. Small, steady. You know what happens when you speak every day. You build confidence. You stop being afraid of your own voice. You become comfortable hearing yourself speak in a new way. You stop worrying about mistakes because you've heard yourself make them and fix them so many times. That fear that once held you back starts to shrink, and your belief begins to grow. You see, improvement is not about talent. It's about repetition, it's about discipline, and it's about choice. You can choose to stay where you are, or you can choose to move forward, one sentence at a time. That's how it works. That's how it always works. I've seen people change their lives by changing their daily habits. You want to speak better English? Then make it part of your daily habit. Don't keep it as a wish, make it a rule. Set a time, 10 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes at night. Make that time sacred, no distractions, no excuses. Just you and your voice. You don't need anyone else. Not yet. First, you build with yourself. If you want to get fit, you exercise. If you want to get smarter, you read. If you want to speak better, then speak. Practice is the price, and that price is daily. But what you get in return is worth it. You get confidence. You get clarity. You get respect. You get growth. The world opens up when you can express yourself clearly. Opportunities find you, people listen, and you start to feel proud, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. You don't need to compare yourself to others. This is your path, your journey. What matters is that you move forward, bit by bit. If today you say 5 words, say 6 tomorrow. If today you speak alone, speak to someone else next week. Expand your comfort zone slowly but surely. But don't stop. The moment you stop, the progress stops. Keep your foot on the gas, even when it feels hard. And let me tell you this, it will feel hard. You'll have days when you don't feel like it. You'll feel tired, you'll doubt yourself. But those are the most important days. That's when it counts the most. Because that's when you train your mind to win. When you speak even when you don't feel ready. That's when the breakthrough comes. You've got to care enough about your own future to speak for it. Nobody's going to give you that skill. You build it. With time, with patience, and with action. Daily action. Not perfect action, just honest effort. If you make it a habit to speak every day, your brain will reward you. Your mouth will move easier. Your thoughts will come faster. The fear will fade. This is not just about learning a language. This is about growing your character, about showing yourself that you can become more, that you can build discipline, that you can rise above fear, that you can do what most people avoid. Speak every day. And you're not just improving your English, you're becoming a stronger version of yourself. This journey doesn't need a fancy classroom, it needs your commitment. This isn't about waiting for someone to teach you, it's about teaching yourself. And that power, that self-teaching mindset, is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for confidence. Create it. Build it. One word at a time, one sentence at a time, one day at a time. And remember, the results don't come, but they do come. And when they come, they change everything. You'll walk into a room and speak without fear. You'll make connections you never could before. You'll feel alive because you took control. That's the reward of daily practice. That's the reward of not quitting. So start today. Speak something, anything, just start. That one small action will take you closer than all the plans you never follow. Speak when no one's around. Speak even when you're tired. Speak even when you stumble, because every word you speak is building the future you want. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up for yourself daily. The change you want begins when you decide that today matters, that your voice matters, that your growth matters. Speak every day and watch who you become. Chapter 2. Build your confidence by speaking without fear. If you want to speak English well, you must learn to speak without fear. Fear is the wall that stops most people. It's not their vocabulary that holds them back. It's not their grammar. It's fear, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of freezing up and not finding the words. That fear has stopped more dreams than failure ever has. And the truth is, you won't speak freely until you decide to stop letting fear control your voice. The first thing you must accept is that fear is normal. It shows up for everyone. No one starts with full confidence. People become confident through action. They step into situations that make them nervous. They feel their heart beat faster. Their hands might even shake, but they go through it anyway. That's how you build confidence. You don't wait for it. You earn it by doing the thing you're afraid of. If you only speak when you're sure you'll say it perfectly, you'll speak once a month, maybe less. But if you accept that making mistakes is part of the learning, then you'll speak more. And the more you speak, the less fear you feel. That's the secret. Speak while feeling unsure. Speak while making mistakes. Speak while stumbling, because those are the exact moments where real growth is born. Confidence grows when you speak, even though you're not sure what will happen. It comes when you stop needing permission. It comes when you realize that people who matter will not laugh, they will listen. And those who do laugh, you don't need their approval anyway. They're not the ones trying to grow. They're not the ones putting in the work. You are. Every time you speak up, you train your mind to be stronger than your doubt. Every word you speak builds a brick of belief. You start to prove to yourself that you can do this. You stop waiting to be confident. You start acting brave. And when you act brave often enough, confidence starts to show up more and more. Many people wait for the perfect moment to speak. They wait for the perfect sentence in their head. But that moment never comes. What comes is a choice to say something, a choice to use what you know. You might not have the perfect words, but you have some words. Use them. That's how communication begins. People think confidence means never being nervous. That's not true. Confidence is feeling nervous and doing it anyway. It's not about removing fear. It's about not obeying it. It's about standing in the middle of that fear and still making the decision to move forward. If you want to become a fluent speaker, you must stop trying to protect your ego. You must be okay with saying it wrong. You must be okay with someone correcting you. You must be okay with looking a little foolish sometimes. Because behind every strong speaker is a long history of mistakes. But they didn't stop. They didn't hide. They kept showing up. Your confidence is built by exposure. The more you speak in front of others, the more your mind learns that nothing bad happens. You don't get hurt. You don't lose anything. In fact, you gain something powerful. You gain belief in yourself. You start to realize that fear was never as big as it seemed. You had just never challenged it before. You don't need to be loud to be confident. You don't need to speak fast or use big words. Real confidence is quiet and steady. It shows in the way you sit, the way you hold your eye contact, the way you pause before you speak, the way you keep talking even after a mistake. That's real confidence. And it doesn't come from luck. It comes from doing hard things over and over until they feel. Fear doesn't disappear overnight. It fades through repetition. And the only way to beat it is to do the very thing it tries to stop. Speak in English, even if it's broken, even if your accent is strong, even if you forget a word. That's okay. Keep going. You're not aiming to be perfect. You're aiming to be better than yesterday. You have to stop caring so much about what others think. Most people are too busy with their own problems to think about your mistakes. And the ones who do judge you, their opinions have no value in your life. You can't grow if your self-worth depends on what others think. You grow by choosing action over approval. You grow by speaking up even when it's uncomfortable. A powerful way to build speaking confidence is to put yourself in more conversation. Look for small moments to speak. Say hello, ask questions, share your thoughts. Start with short interactions, then stretch a little more each time. The goal is not to be perfect, it's to be present. Stay in the moment. Don't overthink every word. Don't replay every mistake in your head. That thinking slows your growth. Speak, move forward, learn, repeat. You don't need a classroom to practice. Your daily life is full of chances. Speak to your friend in English. Order food in English. Write your thoughts in English and then say them out loud. The more you speak in real-life situations, the more natural it becomes. Confidence grows through action, not information. When you speak, speak clearly. Speak with intention. Don't whisper. Don't mumble. Say your words with strength, even if you feel unsure, because your brain listens to your voice. When you speak with power, your mind starts to believe in that power, and belief turns into behavior. If you stumble while speaking, don't apologize too much. Don't shrink. Just take a breath and continue. That's what confident people do. They don't hide from their mistakes, they move through them. Every time you do this, you're teaching your mind that you can handle more than you thought. Confidence doesn't come from speaking only when it's safe. It comes from speaking when it's hard, when it's awkward, when you feel exposed. Those are the moments that shape you. Don't run from them. Step into them. They are not your enemy, they are your training ground. You can improve your grammar, you can improve your vocabulary, but none of that matters if you're afraid to use it. So deal with fear first. Push through it. Train yourself to speak even when your heart beats fast, even when your voice shakes. That's what separates the few who grow from the many who stay stuck. And if you ever feel like giving up, remind yourself why you started. You want to speak well because you want more opportunities, you want more freedom, you want to connect with people, you want to live without limits. That reason is bigger than your fear. Hold on to it, let it push you through the discomfort. You won't see instant results, but if you speak every day with courage, something will shift. You'll notice your voice gets stronger. You'll see yourself handling conversations better. You'll feel pride in how far you've come. That confidence, you built it. You earned it. Word by word, step by step, moment by moment. You don't have to wait years to feel confident. You just have to stop waiting for fear to leave. Start now. Speak now. Grow now. Because your voice matters, your growth matters, and your confidence is waiting to be built by you. Chapter 3. Listen to English conversations and speak what you hear. One of the most effective ways to improve your English speaking skills is to listen closely to how others speak and repeat what you hear. It sounds simple, but it's one of the strongest habits you can build. The best speakers didn't just study grammar books. They paid attention to real conversations. They listened with intention. They absorbed the rhythm, the tone, the structure, and the common phrases. Then they repeated them, again and again, until those patterns became natural. You're not just learning words. You're learning how people actually use those words. That's a big difference. Textbooks can only teach you so much. They give you the rules. But people don't always speak by the rules. Real communication is different. It's more natural, it's more emotional, it flows in a way you can only understand by hearing it in action. So, if you're serious about becoming a better speaker, you need to start training your ears. Spend time listening to English conversations, not just once in a while, but every single day. Choose content that sounds like real life. Movies, interviews, podcasts, YouTube videos, even casual conversations on the street. These are your tools now. Don't just play them in the background. Listen with focus. Pay attention to how people express emotions, how they pause, how they ask questions, how they respond. Once you hear something that sounds useful or interesting, speak it out loud. Don't just think about it. Say it. Speaking what you hear is where the real transformation begins. You take something external and make it your own. You train your mouth to move the way native speakers speak. You train your brain to recall those phrases in real time. That's real learning. That's practice that sticks. You don't need to memorize full speeches. You need to grab pieces of real conversation and make them part of your speaking toolbox. For example, if you hear someone say, "I'm not sure about that," don't just move on. Say it out loud, feel the tone, match the pace, repeat it 5 times. Then try saying it in your own sentence. Try saying it with different emotions. Practice using it when you speak about something in your own life. The more you do this, the more fluent and natural you become. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're absorbing the patterns of real speech. It becomes part of how you think and how you express yourself. When children learn to speak, they don't study first. They listen, they repeat, they copy, and they improve by watching and trying. You can do the same. The human brain learns best by example. When you hear enough good examples, your brain starts to build its own understanding of what sounds right. And when you speak what you hear, you strengthen the connection between understanding and expression. You might not catch every word at first, that's fine. It's okay to not understand everything, but if you listen every day, your ears will get sharper. You'll start recognizing the flow of sentences. You'll notice patterns. You'll pick up useful expressions. Over time, the things that once felt confusing will begin to make sense, and when you repeat those phrases out loud, your confidence starts to grow. You stop second-guessing yourself. You don't need to translate in your head anymore. You just speak. Because your brain already heard that pattern 100 times. It feels familiar. It feels comfortable. That's what you're working toward. You can turn this into a daily habit. Choose 5 minutes of listening material. Play a short clip. Pause after every sentence. Repeat what you hear. Try to sound just like the speaker. If you struggle with the sentence, play it again. Don't move forward until you've tried saying it clearly. You're not racing, you're mastering. And that takes focus. This method works because it gives you real feedback. When you say something and it doesn't sound right, you feel it. Your ears can tell. That's your brain improving. You correct yourself, you adjust, you get better without needing anyone to tell you. You become your own coach. This habit also helps you think faster in English. Because you've heard so many phrases already, your brain has more options to work with when you speak. You're not stuck trying to build a sentence from scratch. You already have the pieces. You just put them together. It saves time. It reduces hesitation. And it makes your speech smoother. Another powerful benefit is emotional understanding. When you hear native speakers talk, you don't just hear words. You feel their tone. You learn how emotions are expressed. You hear how someone sounds when they're excited, nervous, angry, or relaxed. That emotional tone is a big part of communication. When you repeat what you hear, you start building that emotional awareness into your own speaking style. That's what makes you sound more real, more human, more confident. You don't need special equipment. You just need your phone, a quiet space, and a focused mind. This is something anyone can do. But most people don't. They listen passively. They play content while doing something else. And that's okay for entertainment, but not for learning. Real learning needs your full attention. When you hear a new phrase and you speak it immediately, you give your brain a signal. This is important. Your brain listens to that. It remembers. And the more you do it, the more you train your brain to absorb and deliver spoken English with ease. You can make this fun too. Watch scenes from your favorite movie. Play a clip where 2 people are talking. Try to copy their exact words and energy. Be playful with it. You're not trying to become them. You're learning from them. Let their expressions guide you. Let their natural flow become part of how you speak. Over time, you'll notice something incredible. You'll begin to sound more natural without even trying. You'll speak with better rhythm. Your tone will be clearer. You'll stop pausing in the middle of your sentences. And most importantly, you'll start enjoying the process of speaking. It won't feel like a test. It'll feel like a skill you own. Don't underestimate the power of listening and repeating. It sounds simple, but it can completely change the way you speak. Most people focus too much on theory and too little on practice. You don't need more rules. You need more real speech. You need to hear how people actually talk, and you need to speak it out loud until your own voice becomes strong and natural. Make this a challenge for yourself. One short conversation every day. Listen closely. Repeat it 3 times. Try it again later in the day. Keep doing it. Day after day. What you'll discover is that every minute you spend listening and repeating is a step forward. It's not wasted time. It's transformation in motion. And when you meet someone and you speak clearly, confidently, and naturally, they'll have no idea how much time you put into listening and repeating. But you'll know, you'll remember the hours, you'll remember the effort, and you'll feel proud because you earned that fluency, you trained for it, you created it. One conversation at a time, one sentence at a time, one moment at a time. That's how you improve your English speaking skills. Not by magic, not by luck, but by consistent, focused effort. You listen to real people. You speak what you hear. You keep doing it. And you don't stop until you see the change you've been working for. And when that moment comes, when you speak with ease and confidence, you'll know it was worth every second. Chapter 4. Record yourself speaking and fix your mistakes. If you're serious about improving your English speaking skills, there's one practice that separates those who grow fast from those who stay stuck. And that's recording yourself speaking. Not once, not occasionally, but often, daily if possible. Because when you speak and then listen to yourself, you become aware. You start to notice things that you would never catch in the moment. You hear the way your voice sounds. You notice which words you struggle with. You spot the pauses, the repeated words, the things that don't feel natural. And most importantly, you give yourself a chance to fix them. This is not about judging yourself. It's not about feeling bad when you hear a mistake. It's about becoming your own coach. It's about using your own voice as a tool to sharpen your skill. You can't improve what you never review. Most people speak and then move on. They never hear how they sound, so they repeat the same problems without even knowing it. But when you record yourself, you break that cycle. You make the invisible visible, and that's where progress begins. You don't need fancy tools, you just need a phone with a voice recorder. You hit record, you speak about your day, you talk about your thoughts. You explain something simple, anything. What matters is that you're expressing yourself clearly and honestly. Then you play it back. Listen closely. Listen like someone who's trying to improve, not like someone trying to be perfect. That mindset makes all the difference. You'll hear things that surprise you. You might realize your tone sounds too flat. You might catch yourself repeating the same word too often. You might notice that your sentences don't always finish smoothly. These are valuable discoveries because once you see them, you can fix them. And once you fix them, they don't hold you back anymore. Many people avoid recording themselves because they're afraid of how they'll sound. They think, I don't like my voice, or I don't want to hear my mistakes. But that fear keeps them small. It stops growth before it even starts. The truth is, the people who improve the fastest are the ones who are willing to be uncomfortable for a little while. They're willing to face themselves. They don't hide from their weaknesses. They work through them. When you listen to your recordings, don't rush. Don't skip around. Let the words play. Focus on each sentence. Ask yourself, did I say what I meant to say? Was that word clear? Did I use the right phrase for what I was trying to express? These questions guide your awareness, and awareness leads to clarity. You don't need someone else to always correct you. Often you'll catch your own mistakes just by listening closely. Another benefit of recording yourself is that you start to develop a stronger sense of control. You notice your pace. You hear when you speak too fast or too slow. You understand your rhythm, and once you become familiar with your natural voice, you can begin shaping it into something more confident, more engaging, more powerful. You might not like your first few recordings. That's normal. Everyone starts at a place where things feel awkward, but that's not a problem. It's a starting point. Think of those early recordings as a reference. Something you can look back on in 3 months and say, look how far I've come. Because if you do this consistently, your speaking will improve. Not maybe, not hopefully, it will improve. This method gives you something that very few other practices can offer. Honest feedback. It's not filtered. It's not softened. It's real. Your voice, exactly how it sounds. That's a gift. Use it. Review your recordings not with frustration but with curiosity. Become interested in your progress. Celebrate the small wins. Maybe you used a new word correctly. Maybe you explained your thought more clearly. Maybe you paused less this time. Those details matter. And over time they add up. Make this a part of your daily routine. Choose a topic. Set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes. Hit record. Speak with focus. Then play it back. Take notes if needed. Try again tomorrow. This is the kind of repetition that builds mastery. Quiet, daily, honest effort. Not for applause. Not for anyone else. Just for you. If you want to push yourself further, transcribe your recordings. Write down what you said. Read it. Ask yourself if that's how you would say it again. If not, rewrite it. Then try speaking the improved version. This level of practice is what sets serious learners apart. It's slow work, but it's meaningful, and it works. You can also compare your recordings over time. Keep your old ones. After a few weeks or months, go back and listen. You'll hear the difference. You'll notice the growth. That will give you the motivation to keep going. Improvement is not always obvious day to day, but it becomes clear over time when you have something to look back on. Recording also teaches you how to think more clearly. When you speak out loud and then hear it back, you start to notice where your thinking becomes unclear. You might notice that your examples aren't specific enough. That awareness helps you become not just a better speaker, but a better thinker. And that's a skill that benefits every area of your life. You'll also become more in tune with how others hear you. When you listen to your own speech, you hear it from their perspective. That builds empathy. That builds communication skill. That helps you speak in a way that connects more with the people around you. You're not just trying to say words. You're trying to be understood. That's the real goal of speaking. You don't need to record long speeches. Keep it simple. Speak about what you love. Talk about your goals. Describe what happened today. Explain something you learned. The content doesn't need to be fancy. What matters is that you're speaking clearly, with intention, and that you're taking time to hear yourself honestly. Over time, this habit will give you something priceless. Control over your voice. Not just how loud it is, not just how correct it is, but how effective it is. You'll start to speak with purpose. You'll stop second-guessing yourself every time you open your mouth. You'll know how you sound. You'll trust your words. You'll take ownership of your message. And you'll reach a point where speaking no longer feels like a test. It feels like an extension of who you are. Because you've trained, because you've corrected, because you've earned that comfort through repetition. So take the first step. Press record. Start small. Speak with honesty. Review with patience. Improve with focus. This isn't about perfection. It's about growth. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't shrink back, that doesn't wait for confidence, that doesn't avoid hard things. It's about becoming someone who is willing to look in the mirror and say, "I can do better," and then actually do it. Your voice matters. Your message matters, and the path to speaking clearly, confidently, and with power starts by listening to the one voice you've been avoiding, your own. Speak it, record it, hear it, improve it. That's the way forward. That's how transformation begins. Not with permission, not with luck, but with action, daily action, starting now.
Chapter 5. Read English out loud to train your tongue. If you want to speak English more clearly, more naturally, and with better flow, you must read English out loud every single day. This isn't just a simple exercise. This is one of the most effective ways to train your tongue to move with control and precision. Your mouth has memory. Your tongue responds to practice, and the more you read English out loud, the more you build that muscle memory to say the words with ease and confidence. Reading out loud forces you to slow down and focus on every sound. It makes your mouth do the real work. It's not about reading silently in your head. It's about using your voice. That's what changes the way you speak. Your mind might understand a word, but your mouth may not be ready to say it. The only way to close that gap is repetition, not passive reading, active speaking. You need to feel the words as they come out. You need to hear yourself say them. That's how real improvement begins. Start with simple material. You don't need to begin with difficult books. Pick something you enjoy. A short article, a few pages from a book, a blog post, even subtitles from a video. The content isn't what matters most, it's the process. The goal is to get your tongue familiar with English sounds and patterns. When you do this daily, your speaking rhythm begins to improve. Your confidence grows. You start to notice that your words don't get stuck as often. Your sentences become smoother. That's not an accident. That's daily work showing results. You're not reading to memorize. You're reading to build fluency. You're teaching your mouth how to move in a new way. That's a physical process. It's not just mental. It's not enough to know the words. You must be able to say them easily, clearly, and with control. That takes practice. And reading out loud gives you that exact kind of focused practice. Read with attention. Don't rush through the sentences. Don't read just to finish a paragraph. Read with purpose. Read with control. Listen to how you sound. If something doesn't come out smoothly, stop and read that part again. Try it slowly. Then try it again, a little faster. You're not performing. You're training. This is your time to sharpen your tool, your voice. As you read out loud, you begin to notice patterns. You hear which sounds challenge you. Maybe it's certain letters. Maybe it's combinations of words. That's a sign of progress. It shows you where to improve. Don't skip those parts. Focus on them. Repeat them until they feel easier. That's how you break through difficulty. not by avoiding it, but by facing it and working through it. Make this a daily discipline. Set a timer. Even 10 minutes of reading out loud can make a big difference. Keep it consistent. The results will build up. You'll start hearing your own voice becoming stronger. You'll feel the words coming out with less hesitation. You'll feel more prepared when you speak in conversations. That's the power of small, repeated effort. This habit also helps you develop better pronunciation. You get used to saying full sentences clearly. You start to mimic natural flow. You begin to hear where the pauses go, where the emphasis belongs. That's something grammar books can't teach. That only comes from using your voice repeatedly. It becomes part of how you express yourself. The key is to enjoy the process. Don't treat reading out loud like a test. Make it part of your daily routine. Pick material that interests you. If you enjoy the topic, your energy will be higher, and that energy shows in your voice. The more you enjoy what you're reading, the more engaged you become, and the more engaged you are, the faster your improvement. You can also record yourself while reading. This gives you a clear picture of your progress. When you play it back, you'll notice things you didn't catch in the moment. Maybe you were speaking too quickly. Maybe you dropped the endings of words. Maybe your tone was flat. These are valuable observations. Once you notice them, you can adjust. That's how you refine your skills. Reading out loud also helps with vocabulary. When you speak a new word out loud several times, it sticks. Your mind holds on to it longer. You're not just seeing the word, you're using it. That's how you go from knowing a word passively to owning it in your active vocabulary. That's a major shift. Over time, this practice starts to affect your thinking. You begin forming thoughts in English. Your responses become quicker. You stop translating from your native language. You just speak. That level of fluency doesn't come from theory. It comes from daily use. And reading out loud is one of the best ways to create that daily use. You'll also notice that your breathing improves. Speaking clearly means controlling your breath. It means learning when to pause. It means developing a rhythm. Reading out loud teaches you how to manage your breath while you speak. That's a skill that gives you more control in real conversations. As your comfort grows, you can challenge yourself with harder material. Try reading dialogues. Try switching your tone as you read different characters. Try reading with more emotion. That adds depth to your practice. You're not just training words, you're training expression. That's what makes you sound more confident and connected. Don't worry about getting everything right. The purpose of this practice is progress, not perfection. If you stumble, try again. If a sentence feels tough, slow it down. Work through it. Each attempt makes you better. The habit itself is the reward. You're showing up for yourself. You're choosing growth. That mindset will take you far. You don't need anyone else to do this. You don't need a teacher watching. You don't need a classroom. You have your voice. You have your mind. You have the willingness to improve. That's enough. Use it. Trust the process and keep going. One day you'll look back and realize how strong your voice has become. You'll remember the quiet mornings when you read out loud alone. You'll remember the small efforts you made when no one was watching. And you'll feel proud because you didn't wait for permission. You didn't wait to feel confident. You built your confidence, sentence by sentence, day by day. Read out loud every single day. Let your voice grow stronger. Let your mouth learn the language. Let your confidence rise through effort. You are not stuck. You are in progress. And this one daily habit could be the key to unlocking the speaker inside you. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You start now, you improve now, and you stay consistent until your voice becomes something you truly trust.
Chapter 6. Learn 5 new English words every day. If you want to expand your ability to speak English fluently, one of the most powerful things you can do is make it a daily habit to learn 5 new words. Not 50, not even 15, just 5. That number might seem small, but it's incredibly effective when you do it consistently. Why 5? Because it's manageable. It keeps your mind sharp without overwhelming you, and it builds real progress without pressure. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're building a foundation that lasts. When you learn 5 new words every day, you're not just adding vocabulary, you're adding tools. Each word is a new way to express yourself. Each word gives you another way to describe your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences. Without the right words, even the clearest thought stays locked inside your head. But when you know how to say it, you feel free, you feel heard, you feel strong. That's why learning 5 words daily is more than an exercise. It's a personal investment. The goal isn't to just memorize the words. The goal is to own them. And to own them, you must use them. As soon as you learn a new word, speak it, say it out loud. Use it in a sentence that matters to your life. Don't just read the meaning. Connect the word to something real. If you learn the word achieve, don't stop at the definition. Say something with it. Say, I want to achieve fluency in English. Say, I believe I can achieve anything if I work daily. When you say it in your own voice, it becomes real. It becomes yours. This process turns every new word into a tool you can use. And it's not about speed, it's about depth. You're not trying to learn hundreds of words and forget them a week later. You're trying to build a lasting vocabulary that you can rely on. That's why 5 words is the sweet spot. You can focus, you can review, you can repeat, you can take time to actually understand. Every morning, before you get distracted with everything else, give yourself 10 minutes. Pick 5 new English words. Look them up. Read the meaning. Say them aloud. Write them down. Use them in your own sentences. That small block of time will change how you think, how you speak, and how confident you feel. You're not depending on anyone else. You're choosing to grow every single day with 5 small steps. You can find words anywhere. You can use a vocabulary app. You can read a book and highlight words you don't know. You can watch a video and pause when you hear something unfamiliar. There are words all around you waiting to be learned. The key is to be curious. The moment you say, I don't know that word, don't move on. Stop and learn it. That moment of curiosity can become a moment of transformation. And when you learn a new word, don't be afraid to repeat it several times. Repetition is not weakness, it's strength. The more you say it, the more your mouth gets used to it. The more you use it in writing or speaking, the more natural it becomes. And before you know it, the word becomes part of your daily vocabulary, not because you forced it, but because you used it. You should also test yourself. At the end of the day, try to remember the 5 words you learned. Say them again. Use them again. If one doesn't stick, review it the next day. There's no rush. You're not in a race. You're in a process of self-improvement. That process takes time, and it's meant to, because what you build slowly, you build strong. This practice helps you avoid one of the biggest mistakes language learners make, learning too much and using too little. You don't need to know every word in the dictionary. You need to know enough words to express your life. Start with words that fit your day. If you're going to work, learn words that describe your job. If you're spending time with family, learn words related to emotions, relationships, daily activities. Make your learning real and personal, and don't worry if you forget some words along the way. That's normal. The brain needs review. The brain needs time. What matters is that you keep returning to the process. You keep learning 5 more tomorrow. You keep showing up. And over time, your vocabulary grows, naturally, steadily, powerfully. You can even keep a journal. Write down your 5 words each day. Write the meaning. Write a sentence for each. At the end of the week, look back. Review the words you learned. You'll feel proud. You'll see the progress. That's what builds motivation, the visible proof that you're improving, not just guessing, not just hoping, but actually getting better. There's something special about this habit. It's small enough to do no matter how busy your day is, but it's strong enough to reshape how you speak. You're not just learning words, you're building mental discipline, you're training your mind to be sharper, more focused, more capable. That mindset goes beyond language. It affects every part of your life. Imagine what happens after 1 month. That's 150 new words. After 6 months, you've learnt nearly 1,000. That's not a dream. That's real, measurable growth. And those words are not random. They're words you've spoken, words you've written, words you've used. That's powerful. That's personal development in action. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to remember every word forever. But you do need to try, and you do need to stay consistent, because growth doesn't come from what you know, it comes from what you do again and again. 5 words a day is not magic, but it works like magic when you stay with it. Make this your standard, not your goal, your standard. Something you do because it's part of who you are now. You're someone who improves daily, someone who invests in themselves, someone who doesn't wait for permission to grow. That kind of identity will carry you far beyond language learning. Each word is a seed. Plant 5 today, plant 5 more tomorrow. Water them with action, speak them, write them, use them in real situations. Watch them take root in your thinking. Watch them show up in conversations. That's when you know your practice is working. That's when you see that even the smallest habits can create the biggest changes. This isn't just about learning English. This is about building a stronger version of yourself, a more focused you, a more disciplined you, a more confident you. And it all starts with 5 words. Not tomorrow, not when you have more time, right now. Because the decision to grow is made in the small things, and the person you become is shaped by the habits you choose every day. So choose this one. Choose to learn 5 new English words every single day. Choose to make it simple. Choose to make it personal. Choose to make it consistent. And keep going until the person you are becomes someone who speaks with clarity, confidence and strength, not just because they studied hard, but because they trained daily. You're capable of that. All it takes is 5 words and the courage to begin. Chapter 7. Join a speaking group and practice with people. If you really want to become a confident English speaker, then at some point you need to stop practicing alone and start speaking with people. There's only so much you can do by yourself. You can learn new words, you can read books, you can record your voice, but real growth happens when you're in a room or even a video call with other people who are learning just like you, who are trying just like you, and who are also showing up to speak. That's where your skills are tested. That's where your speaking becomes real, because speaking English isn't about being perfect. It's about connecting with others, and you can't learn that connection unless you actually practice it with real people. Joining a speaking group isn't just another tip. It's a turning point. It shifts your mindset from isolation to interaction. It helps you realize that communication is a skill you develop through experience, not just through reading and listening. When you join a group, you hear real voices, you learn from real conversations, you face real situations, and you stop hiding. You step into a space where you allow yourself to speak, to be seen, and to grow. You might feel nervous in the beginning. That's normal. Everyone feels nervous the first time they speak in front of others, but being nervous is not a reason to stay silent. It's a reason to keep showing up, because the only way to stop feeling nervous is to keep speaking until it becomes normal. And the people you meet in these groups, most of them feel exactly like you do. They're not there to judge you, they're there to learn too. And when you realize you're not alone in your fear, it becomes easier to face it. One of the biggest benefits of joining a speaking group is that it gives you structure. It puts speaking time on your schedule. You don't have to wonder when you'll get to practice. You already know, whether it's once a week or twice a week. That time becomes a commitment to yourself. And when you speak regularly with others, you build consistency. That's how fluency grows, not in one big jump, but in steady, repeated action. You also start learning how to listen better. Speaking groups aren't just about talking, they're about understanding. You learn how different people speak English. You hear different accents, different sentence structures, different speaking speeds. That variety trains your ears. It prepares you for real-world conversations where not everyone sounds the same. You begin to respond naturally, you learn to think quickly, and most importantly, you start to feel more relaxed in conversations. When you practice with people, you get instant feedback. You notice if someone doesn't understand you. You feel when your words don't land the way you wanted. And that's powerful, because then you know exactly what to fix. You don't have to guess. You learn in real time, and that makes your improvement faster and more practical. Don't wait to be fluent before joining a group. That mindset will keep you stuck. The group is where you become fluent. You don't need to know everything. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need a willingness to try. Speak what you can. Ask questions when you're confused. Make mistakes and learn from them. That's how everyone grows. Look for a group that fits your level and your goals. There are many online communities now. You can join groups through language learning apps, social media, or local meetups. Some are free, some are paid. Choose one that matches your schedule and your comfort. And once you join, participate fully. Don't just listen. Don't hide in silence. Speak, even if it's just a sentence. Then two, then more. That courage builds your skill faster than anything else. Sometimes you'll feel like you didn't do well. Maybe you'll forget a word. Maybe your sentence won't make sense. But you must not let that stop you. You don't improve by being perfect. You improve by showing up even when it's hard. And each time you do, the next time gets easier. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to notice that your words are coming faster. Your ideas are flowing better. That's not luck. That's the result of practice. Speaking groups also motivate you. You see others making progress. You hear someone who used to be shy now leading a discussion. That inspires you. It reminds you that change is possible, that growth is real, and it pushes you to keep going, especially on the days when you feel stuck. The more you speak with others, the more you learn how to express yourself clearly. You stop overthinking every word. You begin to trust your instinct. And that trust becomes the foundation of confidence. You don't need to rehearse every sentence. You don't need to be afraid of saying the wrong thing. You learn to speak with clarity and belief. And that shows in your tone, your posture, your presence. You also build friendships. When you speak with people regularly, you create connections. You find others who support your journey. You share your struggles. You celebrate each other's wins. That emotional connection makes learning more meaningful. You stop seeing English as a subject. You start seeing it as a tool to connect, to share, to belong. That's what makes the process more human, more real. You can even take turns leading the group or starting discussions. That pushes you even further. It teaches you how to guide a conversation, how to keep it going, how to engage others. Those are powerful communication skills, not just for English, but for life. And they grow stronger the more you use them. If your group records the sessions, ask for a copy. Watch yourself later. You'll notice how you speak when you're not thinking about it. That's valuable insight. You might realize that you speak better than you thought, or you might see something to improve. Either way, it helps, because growth always comes from awareness. The more you participate, the more you realize that speaking isn't about knowing every word. It's about being able to say what you want with the words you already know. That's enough. And over time, your vocabulary will expand naturally. You'll hear new expressions in the group. You'll pick up better ways to say something. And because you hear them in a real conversation, you'll remember them longer. If you miss a session, don't skip the next one. Don't lose momentum. Keep going. Learning a language is like building muscle. If you stop, it slows down. But if you keep at it, you get stronger. You become someone who speaks with ease, who joins conversations without fear, who expresses ideas without holding back. You don't need to wait for everything to be perfect. Just join a group. Show up, speak, listen, learn, repeat. That simple cycle can change your whole experience with English. It takes effort, it takes patience, but it works. The person who practices with people becomes the person who speaks with confidence. That confidence doesn't come from reading alone. It doesn't come from memorizing. It comes from interaction, from speaking with other human beings who challenge you, support you, and grow with you. Start with one group, join one session, speak one sentence, and build from there. This is how you create the future version of yourself, who doesn't hesitate, who doesn't panic, who doesn't avoid English conversations. You build that person today by speaking, by showing up, and by making practice a shared experience, not a private struggle. That's how you grow. That's how you win. and it begins with one simple step: joining a group and opening your mouth.
Chapter 8. Think in English to speak more naturally. If you want to speak English more naturally, more confidently, and more clearly, one of the biggest shifts you need to make is to start thinking in English. This change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a decision. The decision to stop translating everything from your native language and to start letting your thoughts form directly in English. When you begin doing that, something powerful happens. Speaking becomes easier, sentences come faster, your words feel smoother. You stop hesitating every time you talk. You stop searching for a translation. You just speak and it flows. Thinking in English is not just a skill, it's a habit. You train your mind to stop taking the long way around. Because every time you think in your first language and then try to turn those thoughts into English, you lose time, you create confusion, you add pressure, and you make your speaking slower than it needs to be. But when you build the habit of forming your ideas directly in English, you cut out that delay. You free your mind to focus on expressing, not translating. This doesn't mean you suddenly stop understanding your first language. It means you're choosing to practice a new way of thinking, one that supports your goal of becoming a fluent speaker, one that brings you closer to natural, clear communication. So how do you begin? Start small. Begin with simple thoughts. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, how would I say this in English? If you're brushing your teeth, think in English, I am brushing my teeth now. If you're making a plan for the day, say in your mind, today I will go to work, then to the gym. If you're looking out the window, describe what you see using English words. These are tiny moments, but they are powerful because every time you do it, your brain gets more comfortable thinking in English. And the more comfortable your brain becomes, the faster it learns to stay in that mode. Thinking in English also improves your speaking speed. You no longer pause to mentally translate each word. You don't waste time trying to convert one sentence into another language. You just speak. And that's what fluency feels like. Not perfect grammar, not big vocabulary, but smooth expression. Being able to say what's on your mind without stopping every few seconds to figure out how. To make this habit stronger, you can also speak your thoughts out loud. When you're alone, walk around and talk to yourself in English. Say what you're doing. Say what you're feeling. Say what you're thinking. It might feel awkward in the beginning, but it's one of the best ways to connect your inner voice with your spoken voice. It turns English from something you study into something you live. You can also write your thoughts down. Keep a small notebook or use your phone. When something comes to your mind, write it in English. It doesn't need to be a full paragraph. A sentence is enough. Doing this helps you build the connection between what you think and how you express. It strengthens your ability to stay in the language, and over time, it starts to feel more natural. Another way to train your brain is to ask yourself questions in English throughout the day. Simple ones like, what time is it? Or what do I need to do now? Then answer them in English too. It's 2 o'clock. I need to call my friend. These small exercises keep your mind alert. They keep the language alive in your thoughts. You can even change the language settings on your phone, your apps, your computer. The more English you see, the more your brain starts to accept it as part of your everyday life. The goal is to surround yourself with English so that it becomes your default language for thinking, reacting, planning, and speaking. And when you get stuck on a word, don't rush to translate it. Try to describe it using the English words you already know. This builds creative thinking. It forces your brain to find a way forward without depending on translation. That flexibility is part of what makes a natural speaker. Because in real life, you won't always have time to stop and look something up. You need to be able to keep the conversation going with the language you already have. This process takes patience. Your mind has been thinking in your native language for years. It's not going to switch in a day, but every day you practice thinking in English, you are teaching your brain a new pattern, a better pattern, one that supports your fluency and builds your confidence. You're rewiring your thoughts, step by step, to support your goal. The key is to be intentional. Don't wait for English thoughts to appear. Bring them up. Make the choice.
Turn your thoughts into practice. Speak them, write them, repeat them. That's how you build the habit. That's how you train your mind to switch languages. You don't wait for it. You do it on purpose. You'll know it's working when you catch yourself thinking in English without trying. You'll be walking or doing something routine, and suddenly your inner voice is using English words. That's a good sign. That means your brain is adapting. That means your effort is paying off. You are becoming someone who doesn't just speak English, but someone who lives it, even in their thinking. And the more you think in English, the less nervous you feel when it's time to speak, because speaking becomes a reflection of your thoughts. If your thoughts are already in English, speaking them becomes much easier. You don't have to create from nothing. You're just saying what you're already thinking. That's what makes it feel smooth. That's what makes it feel natural. This practice also makes your reactions faster. When someone asks you a question, you respond more quickly. You're not translating, you're replying. Your words are ready, your mind is ready. That speed builds confidence. It shows you that you don't need to be perfect to be effective. You just need to be prepared. And thinking in English prepares you better than any other technique. You don't need anyone else to do this. You don't need a classroom. You don't need a partner. You just need to commit to the process, to start thinking differently, to stop treating English like a foreign subject, and start treating it like part of your life. That mindset shift is everything. It changes your attitude, it changes your behavior, and it changes your results. Every great speaker once struggled with their thoughts. They once hesitated, searched for words, and translated everything. But they made a decision to change the way they think, and that decision made all the difference. You can do the same. You don't need special talent. You don't need a perfect environment. You just need to make the daily effort to shift your inner voice from one language to another, to bring English inside your thoughts, and to let it stay there. So start today. Start now. Begin with a single sentence in your head. Keep it simple. Keep it real. Say it out loud. Then say another and another. Build that habit like you would build muscle in small daily reps. Over time, you won't just be someone who studies English, you'll be someone who thinks in English, someone who speaks with clarity, someone who doesn't need to pause and translate, someone who trusts their voice because they trained it, quietly, consistently, honestly, and fully. That's how you speak more naturally. That's how you reach the level you've been working for, and it all begins inside your own mind.
Chapter 9. Ask for feedback and improve what you say. If you truly want to improve your English speaking skills, one of the most important things you can do is ask for feedback, not once, not just from one person, but regularly and from different people who can give you honest thoughts on how you speak. Feedback gives you clarity. It helps you see what you cannot see on your own. When you're learning a language, it's easy to get stuck in your own head. You might think you're saying something clearly, but the other person might hear something completely different. That gap between what you think you said and what others understand is exactly where feedback comes in. It closes that gap, and when you close that gap, you grow faster. Most people don't improve as much as they could because they avoid feedback. They're afraid to hear what they're doing wrong. They're worried someone might criticize them, but that fear only keeps them stuck. Feedback is not judgment. It's not about making you feel small. It's about helping you rise. When someone points out how you can say something better, they're not tearing you down. They're giving you the tools to build a better version of your speaking self. To get the most from feedback, you need to be open. You need to let go of your ego. You need to understand that mistakes are normal, and learning from them is a strength. When you speak with someone, whether it's a teacher, a friend, or a fellow learner, ask them how you sounded. Ask them if you were clear. Ask them if your sentence made sense. And when they give you advice, write it down. Don't just nod and move on. Keep a record, review it, apply it. Improvement doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you take what someone tells you and actually use it. If someone says your pronunciation of a certain word is unclear, don't get defensive. Say thank you. Then practice that word. Repeat it. Record it. Listen again. Fix it.
That small adjustment could make a big difference in your next conversation. That's the power of asking and applying. You can also ask people to correct you in real time. Tell them it's okay to stop you if you say something wrong. Give them permission to help you. Most people won't correct you unless you ask, because they don't want to make you uncomfortable. But if you show them that you're serious about learning, they'll respect that. They'll help you in ways you didn't expect. And every small correction adds to your skill. One word at a time, one sentence at a time. Another strong way to use feedback is to practice with people who are better than you. Don't always stay in groups where you're the most skilled speaker. Step into conversations where others speak faster, clearer, or more naturally than you. Listen to how they talk. Ask them to point out one thing you could improve. It doesn't need to be a long list. Even one helpful comment can lead to meaningful progress, and over time, those small steps lead to major breakthroughs. The best learners don't hide from correction. They look for it, they ask for it, they use it, and they improve faster than anyone else, not because they're smarter, but because they're willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of growth. You must decide if you're ready to put your progress ahead of your pride. You must choose growth over comfort. That decision makes all the difference. When you ask for feedback, be specific. Don't just say, "How was it?" Ask questions like, "Was my sentence clear? Did my pronunciation sound okay? Could I have said that in a better way?" Specific questions lead to better answers, and better answers lead to better results. Also remember that feedback is not always about mistakes. Sometimes it's about what you did right. When someone says, "You said that really well," take note of that too. That's just as valuable. You want to build on your strengths, not just fix your weaknesses. So pay attention to both. You can also ask for feedback from different sources. Don't rely on only one person. Talk to a native speaker. Talk to another learner. Talk to someone who's been where you are and moved forward. Each person will notice different things. One might help with grammar, another might help with tone, someone else might help with how naturally you speak. The more perspectives you gather, the more complete your understanding becomes. Sometimes the feedback might be tough to hear. You might feel disappointed. That's okay. Growth is not always comfortable, but discomfort is part of the process. Let it motivate you. Let it push you to get better. You're not aiming to be perfect. You're aiming to improve. Every step you take matters, even the hard ones. And you don't need to wait for feedback to come to you. Create situations where it happens. Join a language group where feedback is encouraged. Sign up for a speaking class. Do a language exchange with someone who is also learning. Take a few minutes after every session to ask for input. Make it a habit. Make it part of your process. You can even give feedback to yourself. After every conversation, ask yourself, what did I say well? What could I say better next time? Record your speaking and listen with a critical ear. You know your goals, you know your weak points. Use that awareness to guide your next move. Over time, your relationship with feedback will change. You'll stop fearing it. You'll start wanting it, because you'll realize it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're learning. That shift in mindset is powerful. It gives you the energy to keep going, even when things feel slow. And it turns every conversation into a learning experience. You'll also build confidence, not the kind that comes from knowing everything, but the kind that comes from knowing you're improving. You'll speak with more courage because you're not afraid of being corrected. You know that correction helps you grow, and that mindset is what separates people who stay stuck from people who move forward. Asking for feedback is one of the most practical, powerful, and honest things you can do to improve your English speaking skills. It keeps you accountable. It shows you where to focus. It reminds you that language is not just something you learn, it's something you do, and doing it better means learning from the experience. So don't stay in your bubble. Don't try to figure it all out on your own. Let others help you. Invite their input, thank them for it, and use it to become better. Every correction is a gift. Every suggestion is a step forward. You're not alone in this. There are people who want to see you grow. All you need to do is ask, and then act. That's how progress is made. That's how confidence is built. That's how you become a speaker who's not just understood, but respected. And it starts with one powerful question. Can you tell me how I can improve? Chapter 10. Stay consistent and speak English without stopping. If you want to truly master English speaking, you must stay consistent and keep going no matter what. That means you speak even when you're tired. You speak even when you feel stuck. You speak even when you're unsure. You don't stop. You don't take long breaks. You don't tell yourself, "I'll do it later." You make it part of who you are. That's how real progress happens, not in big, dramatic steps, not in sudden breakthroughs, but in the small, steady actions that you repeat every single day. Progress belongs to the person who keeps going, the one who refuses to stop, the one who builds the habit and protects it. When you stop practicing, your mind starts to forget, your tongue gets lazy, your rhythm becomes weaker, and that's what slows down growth. But when you speak regularly, your brain stays active, your mouth becomes more comfortable. You don't have to think as hard. The words come faster, the sentences become clearer, and what used to feel like effort begins to feel natural. That's the power of consistency. Consistency is not about how much you do in one day. It's about what you keep doing day after day. Even 10 minutes of speaking every day is more powerful than 1 hour once a week. Because your brain learns through regular exposure, it needs repetition to form strong patterns. It needs practice to build fluency, and it needs discipline to turn effort into skill. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to practice. That time never comes. Life always has something else waiting. You need to make the decision that English is a part of your day, like eating, like sleeping, like working. It's not optional. It's not something you skip when you're busy. It's something you protect because it matters. You want to speak clearly. You want to express yourself without fear. Then don't stop. Speak when you're alone. Speak while walking. Speak while thinking. Speak while reading. Speak to yourself. Speak to others. Speak anywhere and everywhere you can. The people who succeed in speaking English well are not always the smartest. They're not always the ones with the best teachers or the most resources. They're the ones who stay consistent, who don't let excuses get in the way, who treat every day like a chance to improve. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait to feel ready. They build the habit and keep it alive. When you keep going every day, something starts to shift inside you. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop fearing mistakes. You stop worrying about what others think. You know you've been practicing. You know you're putting in the work. That gives you strength. That gives you courage. And that makes your voice stronger, not just in language, but in life. You'll have hard days. You'll feel like you're not making progress. You might get frustrated. You might wonder if all the effort is even working. That's when most people quit. But that's also the exact moment when real growth is right around the corner. Keep going. Speak through the frustration. Speak through the boredom. Speak through the doubts. Because when you keep speaking, you keep learning. And when you keep learning, you keep getting better. You have to stop waiting for the feeling to be right. You have to train your body and your mind to show up no matter how you feel. That's discipline. That's what separates talkers from doers. That's what builds confidence that doesn't depend on mood or motivation. Speaking every day helps you understand the language on a deeper level. You stop treating English like a subject. You start living it. It becomes part of your thinking. It becomes part of how you see the world. And that changes everything. You're no longer a learner. You're a speaker. Because you use the language like a real tool, not just when it's easy, but always. Don't try to be perfect. Don't waste time trying to say everything the right way all the time. Speak with honesty, speak with energy, speak with the words you know, and keep adding more. When you stay consistent, you naturally expand your vocabulary, you naturally improve your structure, you naturally develop better pronunciation. It all happens as a result of daily use. Make it a goal to never let a day go by without speaking English, even if it's just 1 minute, even if you're only repeating a few phrases, even if it's only to yourself. Keep the rhythm alive. Keep your mind in motion. That habit keeps you sharp, and it keeps your progress moving forward. Over time, the compound effect kicks in. You don't notice the change every day, but you see it over weeks and months. You hear your voice getting stronger. You feel your words coming out easier. You notice that people understand you better. That's not magic. That's the result of your consistency. You earned that. You built that. With time, with discipline, with commitment. Don't compare your journey to others. Some people speak faster. Some people know more words. That's not the point. The real question is, did you speak today? Did you practice your skill? Did you keep going, even when no one was watching? That's what matters. That's what builds greatness over time. If you ever feel like stopping, go back to your reason. Why did you start learning English in the first place? Was it to get a better job, to travel, to feel more confident, to make your voice heard? That reason is still there, and it's worth fighting for. Speak for that reason. Keep going for that purpose, and never forget that your future depends on what you do now, not next week, not someday, but now. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to show up daily. No shortcuts, no magic formula, just clear effort, repeated over time. Speak when it's easy. Speak when it's hard. Speak when you're excited. Speak when you're tired. Speak when you're winning. Speak when you're doubting. Speak because your voice is growing. Speak because your future self will thank you for not quitting. You are not starting over every day. You're building on everything you've already done. Every time you open your mouth in English, you're moving closer to fluency. Every word you say is practice. Every sentence you form is progress. Every mistake you correct is growth. And every day you stay consistent is proof that you are serious about becoming the speaker you want to be. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to skip a day. But you don't need to listen to those reasons. You need to listen to your goal. You need to follow through on your promise to yourself. Because once you've decided that English matters, then your job is to protect that decision with action. So speak every single day, without stopping, without doubting, without giving up. Speak because it's who you are becoming. Speak because you're stronger than your excuses. Speak because your growth depends on it. Stay consistent, keep speaking, and don't stop until the way you speak reflects the effort you've put in. This is your path. This is your time. Stay with it until your voice becomes your strength.